Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities. Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
It's summer vacation, and CBC TV8 says laugh a little. Your mid-mornings have now included some family-friendly, side-splitting series like The Partridge Family, Benson, and Designing Women. TV not to be missed this vacation. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on CBC TV8. It's Match Day Live from the 246 with host Damian Best. Your all-access pass to the action happening in the BFA Premier League and beyond. Every last Monday of the month on CBC TV8. Kickoff time, 8:30 p.m. with analysis from our panel and highlights of the top performances. You can weigh in on the discussion via WhatsApp on 228-5562. It's Match Day Live from the 246. Don't you miss it.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the first 4 ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities. Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details.
This is the CBC Morning Report for Monday, December 4th. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. Today, sponsored by Jordan's Supermarket. In our headlines, Chairman of the Barbados Broadcast Authority, Dr. Alison Leacock, wants local broadcasters to stop applauding mediocrity and raise the standards. She was speaking on TV8's The People's Business last night when she noted that there's training and then there's proper training.
How we train people and who trains people. You can train and tick a box. You can train badly. You can train bad habits. None of that helps somebody to transform into the breadth and the depth of what a broadcaster is versus an announcer versus a DJ. Now, there is a role for all of those dimensions. And we have seen the absolute burgeoning of DJs. There's a role for them. But I think those of us who are trained broadcasters have to take some of the blame for allowing the standards to fall as low as they have. Because there are other professions you simply cannot just get in. You can't just come in and try a thing. But we do that. We do that. Why are we allowing people who perhaps come to the corporation or any other entity with the singular goal of getting on TV and being a star?
Now, the veteran broadcaster, who also heads the National Transformation Initiative, says when it comes to standards, we must not be unapologetic.
Because I like you or I know you, it doesn't mean because you want to do it that you are good at it. And I have a responsibility to shield you from ridicule if you are below par. I have a responsibility to raise the bar, to help you get to where you can get to. And I believe that if we were to revisit all of what we have been accepting as adequate rather than the best, rather than being top drawer, which is what we are capable of. And CBC has turned out the finest. So there is absolutely no reason for us to settle. And I think that that, for me, is a huge, huge problem. We have to look at our training and determine whether or not we are training people to be their best. Because there is never, there's no destination when you are aiming to be the best. Excellence is a habit, but there is always another rung. And I feel that within the field of broadcasting, we have failed to maintain the standards we once had, and they have fallen so low that anybody with a glimmer of potential and promise is now lauded as brilliant.
Well, coming up on the CBC Morning Report, officials say COVID isn't resurfacing in China. Today's Morning Report is brought to you with the compliments of Jordan Supermarket.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a...
China's surge in respiratory illness is caused by known pathogens, and there is no sign of new infectious diseases. This is the assessment of health officials as China faces its first full winter since lifting strict COVID-19 restrictions. The spike in illness in the country, where COVID emerged in late 2019, has been attracting the spotlight when the World Health Organization sought information last week.
Hospitals across northern China are filled with families seeking care for their sick children. Some are waiting hours for treatment. Respiratory viruses such as influenza and mycoplasma pneumonia, a type of bacterial infection, have been spreading for weeks. This is China's first winter in 3 years without strict COVID-19 rules. Doctors say the end of pandemic restrictions are largely to blame.
During the COVID time, everybody was just sheltered, everybody was sterile, in a way, sterile. So these kids haven't had any infections in the past. So now that they are now mingling in schools and crowded settings, it's as if they're getting the infections as the first time. So now they are just trying to build the immune system or antibodies again.
The World Health Organization has asked China to provide more information about the uptick in respiratory illnesses. Beijing says the clusters are caused by known pathogens, but the surge has reminded many of the initial spread of the coronavirus. China was criticized for a lack of transparency at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. It's an association Chinese officials are determined to dismiss.
Recently, we have seen some clusters of flu cases among children in China. In fact, this is very common in many countries, and in China, it is under effective control.
Authorities have urged community-level healthcare services and clinics to work harder.
This is Beijing Children's Hospital, a top pediatric facility in the city. Recently, they've been receiving more than 9,000 patients every day and have been forced to expand their capacity and number of beds.
This private hospital has temporarily lowered its fees to ease the demand on public facilities, but the advice across the board is the same.
Right now that we're seeing surge, it's better to put on the mask again and then practice hand washing.
Though the lockdowns of the COVID-19 pandemic are over, doctors here say many of the habits learned during that period should be observed again.
Well, reports are that more than 700 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza over the last 24-plus hours. Hamas says captive prisoner swap talks will not resume until the Israeli onslaught in Gaza ends.
Children are meant to play in the dirt, but in Gaza, it's their shroud. The bombing has continued in areas that the Israeli military said were safe.
I was asleep. I woke up. I found myself under the rubble. I didn't find anything. All around me was logs and rocks. I tried to move, but I couldn't because there were a lot of rocks. I kept screaming and calling for the people. Men came and carried me. They put me in the ambulance.
And more strikes on the Jabalia refugee camp. Reports of dozens killed. My father and brother are dead, he says. There is no respite for Palestinians here. Civil defense teams frantically traverse narrow streets of Khan Yunis in the south. Palestinians' homes and lives continue to be ripped apart. Many have already moved from the north to the south, making these areas even more densely populated than before.
When the civil defense teams came, they were confronted by an unimaginable scene, a residential area consisting of more than 50 houses, as per the testimonies of the civilians and residents, stating that this square was highly populated by residents and internally displaced people. It was targeted by more than 10 bombs launched by Israeli occupation forces. We're talking here about hundreds killed.
Hamas's Al-Qassam brigade fighters released video which appears to show them taking on the Israeli army in Beit Hanun in the northern Gaza Strip. Israel says it wants to destroy Hamas, but fighters continue to resist its military advance. The 6-day ceasefire, which ended on Friday, gave people a few days of calm. Now there's more bloodshed. Fewer hospitals operating, fewer emergency vehicles, and if this rate of killing continues, fewer Palestinians left in the Gaza Strip.
Well, coming up on Morning Barbados today, Monday, we're going to tell you all about the Rotary Club of Barbados West Herring Screening Project. That's back around this time around, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about it. Plus the 120th anniversary of the Barbados Cadet Corps. We're going to update you on some of the activities that you can expect in observance of that big celebration. We're also going to be talking about abuse of animals on today's Morning Barbados. And we have some great games coming your way, an opportunity for you to win with the What You Can Give Me for Christmas promotion, all here on Morning Barbados. That's at 6:30. But next in the morning report, we have more news, sports, and weather. Remember today's presentation with the compliments of Jordan Supermarket.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Enjoy movies, soaps,
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados wants to work closer with government when it comes to establishing policies. President of ICAB, Tracy Marshall, says they don't want to only come in on the back end of decisions. She was speaking last night on Public Affairs One-on-One program on TV8.
This is all about country first. And that's where we sit. It is all about country. So we want to encourage, if there's a piece of legislation coming in, by all means, we have a legislation committee. And the legislation committee has accountants and it has attorneys. And that's because legislation obviously governs how the country functions. And we need to be a part of that, but not at the back end. It is when this is rolled out. And I will say, we've commented on areas such as like the constitution reform. Yes. And that information is readily available. The integrity legislation that was recently published, that we were also a part of in terms of making presentations over the years. It was long in coming, yes, but we want government to know that we are here as a sounding board and as someone to share firsthand what are we experiencing and how we think this will impact. So we think commenting on legislation is nothing new for us, and we want to be able to do it a lot more.
For the first time ever in Barbados, unconfirmed baptized Anglicans were permitted to take Holy Communion. It followed a decision taken by the Bishop, Michael Maxwell, and senior leadership of the clergy a few weeks ago. CBC's Trevor Thorpe visited several churches yesterday.
Rector of the St. George Parish Church, Senator Dr. John Rogers, says it's a return to the old order and now includes children having communion, but the new ruling touches everyone. He gave some background to the new rule.
It's mainly the children that will be at the forefront, but as our bishop has pointed out, any children under 3 years old, their parents will share whatever their parents have. So it becomes again the common meal, like what St. Paul would have had in 1 Corinthians. And any children between 3 and 15, they will only receive in one kind, because our sacrament, in the body and blood of Christ, the wine is actually alcoholic, so the little ones will not receive that.
The new rule does not affect confirmation, and the cleric does not see any fallout from the congregation.
Confirmation will still take place for those, because confirmation is not about the Eucharist. Confirmation is about learning more about Christ so that you become an active minister in the church. Confirmation is usually referred to as the layperson's ordination. So at baptism, the children would have been brought to baptism as infants, and their godparents and parents would have made the promises on their behalf. At confirmation, what you're saying is now, I am ready to take on the mantle for myself. So the Eucharist was just an added part to it, but it's not the end-all and be-all of confirmation.
Rector at the St. Barnabas Church, the Reverend Monreal Williams, said it's a move that should have been made a long time ago.
We in the province of the West Indies are now catching up with the Anglican Church in many different parts of the world who have been doing this for the longest time. But it's the general congregation, I guess, will begin to get used to it and begin to let it become part of the normal worship life of the church.
Reverend Williams said there has been a fallout in the presence of children in the church, but admits the new initiative will take some time to settle in, but the Anglican Church is an all-inclusive church.
It will take, like anything, it will take some getting used to. And I think that eventually the kids will get to understand it better, and the older people will begin to accept that this is who we are. This is what the Anglican Church is all about, an inclusive church, including children as part of the worship life of the church.
The Anglican cleric also made a call for the church to become part of the community and to be where the people are. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
St. Lucia's Ministry of Health has launched a new campaign to promote the importance of vaccines in preventing diseases. Health officials plan to combat misinformation regarding inoculations as part of a push to increase immunization coverage among both adults and children across the island. We get more from HTS.
Combating vaccine hesitancy remains a priority for the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The COVID-19 pandemic brought a surge of misinformation about vaccinations. Nevertheless, health officials have consistently emphasized the efficacy of vaccines in safeguarding individuals and preventing severe forms of COVID-19. Despite their efforts, dispelling rumors and untruths remains a persistent challenge.
First of all, the Ministry of Health, we use our data to guide us when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine. We have not noted any deaths related to the COVID-19 vaccine in country, and we have been monitoring possible side effects that you get from vaccines. During the period of the COVID-19 immunization, this led to a lot of misinformation and false information going out to the public, and this affected our childhood immunization program.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar George says a lot of the data collected has been shared with health officials. She says the reach of the vaccines has been increased through community engagement and long opening hours of health and wellness facilities.
We saw the benefits of the vaccine in terms of reducing hospitalization and deaths during that period. So we as a ministry, we will continue providing the public with accurate information when it comes to vaccines and making the vaccines accessible to the public. It's affordable because The policy of the ministry, we ensure that the vaccines are provided free of charge to the public.
The medical professional notes that attempts to achieve island-wide coverage of the COVID-19 vaccine fell short, and this resulted in high hospitalizations, resulting in an immense strain on healthcare workers. The CMO notes that currently the strains of COVID-19 still in circulation have been milder and more symptomatic of the influenza virus.
The influenza vaccine, we continue to make it available at all of our wellness centers, and it is available free of charge. So especially persons who have risk factors, like persons with chronic diseases, the elderly, we encourage the public to go to the nearest wellness center to get your influenza vaccines. And if you plan to travel as well.
Research undertaken by the Guyana Council of Organization for Persons with Disabilities and Red Thread has revealed critical insights into the experiences of women with disabilities in Guyana, both before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the significant findings of this study is that women living with disabilities face higher rates of gender-based violence compared to those without disabilities. We hear more from HGP TV.
The report details the experiences of 30 Guyanese women with disabilities who dealt with gender-based violence, GBV, in their intimate relationships and in their respective homes during the COVID-19 pandemic. A transnational team of 9 researchers, including women with and without disabilities, in collaboration with the Guyana Council of Organization for Persons with Disabilities and Red Thread, conducted the research between 2021 and 2023. Lead researcher Kendra Ann Smith, in presenting the team's findings, says it was an alarming reality based on work done in the field of gender-based violence that the stories of women with disabilities are often not given an audience, adding that during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was an increase in the number of reports about GBV across the globe.
One of the other things that research tells us is that women with disabilities experience gender-based violence at higher rates than non-disabled women. And so one of the things that our community partners and we as researchers began to wonder about is what is happening for women with disabilities.
According to Pitt, the research consisted of 3 main objectives, which provided guidance in gathering and analyzing materials.
We wanted to explore the challenges that were particular to COVID-19 social distancing and lockdown measures for women with disabilities who were experiencing gender-based violence. We wanted to understand how women who were experiencing gender-based violence in these conditions were coping.
Women between the ages of 20 to 54 from regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10 were interviewed. The research found that there were a series of experiences of marginalization and exclusion which severely impacted response to GBV, particularly during COVID-19.
Talked about the experiences of stigma. Women talked about the experiences of being excluded from education, being excluded from employment, and all of these conditions made it even more difficult for some women to actually respond to gender-based violence. And what it actually does is it tells us a larger story, I think, about the ways in which women with disabilities and also people with disabilities more generally experience what we would call structural violence.
The results showed a reflection of a range of structural inequities that were foundational to how they experienced and navigated GBV. The intersecting inequities produced by ableism, sexism, and patriarchy, inequitable economic arrangements, limitations related to health care, along with other issues, created conditions of disenfranchisement and harm.
In sports, Shea Hope skippered and batted the Windies to victory in the first one-day international against England at the Viv Richards Stadium in Antigua last evening. England opted to bat first and posted a decent 325 in their 50 overs. Harry Brook top-scored with 71. That included 7 fours and 2 sixes, while Gudakesh Moti took 2 for 49. The Windies replied with 326 for 6 off 48.5 overs to win by 4 wickets and with 7 balls to spare. Player of the match, Hope, was unbeaten on 109 from just 83 deliveries that included 4 fours and 7 sixes. 3 of those sixes were the last 3 scoring shots to seal the deal. Alec Athanzi added 66 and Romario Shepherd 48. We have match highlights.
Trouble, big trouble, gone.
Oh, Hugh, well, that is it. That is it.
Gone. Alec Athanase takes a good catch at slip. That's kept Lewis well, and he's given him. Got him.
In the air, will land safe with both batters at the same end. A chance for a run out taken. Smash, but high in the air. Who wants it? Ocean Thomas himself wants it. Well, in the air, but and will be taken, is it? Yes, it is taken. They dismiss England for 325.
Very pleasurable shot from Alec Athanase. And that is something that crowd will be pleased about. I would think some of them anyway.
Well, he's got hold of that one. Well, that's pulled with immense power. Smashed away. That is 50 for Alec Athanase.
Joint fastest half century for David, and huge shout, and that finger goes up.
They try to sweep. It's gone straight through. Variable bounce there and given. That's amazing.
Runs very quickly at the death of an innings. That's gone high. It has gone high and straight into the hands. That's a pretty good catch from Kaz. Now, how far has that gone? Because that's gone upwards and long as well. Yep. It also brings up 50 for Shea Hope. Now, that's gone off the bat. It has gone high, but it hasn't got the distance.
Big, huge, mammoth. Pace off. He's gone the distance again. This is the power of Shepherd. That's 6. That is 6. The muscle of Shea Hope just when required. Does change it straighter and smacks it for 6. Given. Straight is not good enough. It's a 16 for the I-100 for Shea the Magnificent. And one of the reasons the West Indies will continue to have hope in their redevelopment.
6 needed.
This is ridiculous bowling, but magnificent batting from Shea Hope, who wins it off of his own bat.
Match number 2 is on Wednesday. It's time to take a look now at weather. The barometric pressure stands at 1013.3 millibars. It's 26.4 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 81%, and the winds are blowing out of the east at 22 kilometers per hour. It's presently fair. Sea conditions: smooth to moderate in open water, with swells ranging from 1 to 2 meters and increasing. And here's a look at how the tides roll in today. Be careful as you head out for your early morning sea bath. General conditions for Barbados: partly sunny with a few brief isolated light showers. And into the evening period, it will be pretty much the same, mostly clear. Now, that's today's morning report. Our next newscast is noon. Of course, Newsday at 12 noon here on TV8, followed by The World at 1 on our radio network of stations. Today's morning report was brought to you with the compliments of Jordan's Supermarket.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
It's Monday, December 4th. Wonderful to have you in company with us today for another Morning Barbados presentation. We must apologize for the late start. We've been delayed quite a bit for technical challenges, but we're happy to be here. So good to have you with us as well. We have quite the show planned for you today, so we're going to jump right in. A few months ago, we talked to you about something called the Hearing Screening Project, and we're happy to have some members of the Rotary Club of Barbados West back with us. Gail Reeves is of the club. She's president of the club, and we also have Rotarian Martin Steinbach joining us to tell us more about this particular part of the presentation. So good morning, welcome, good to have you with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I'll start with you, Madam President. For those people who've not heard about it before, talk to us about this particular project and why it means so much to be doing it as a service club.
Sure. So good morning once again. Thank you so very much for having us. The Rotary Club of Barbados West, as you know, has as its ideals a commitment to serving the communities. And one of our goals certainly is focused in the area of education. The Ellen Steinbach Rotary Club of Barbados West Ellen Steinbach Hearing Project actually launched officially 2 years ago. Prior to that, we did screening at one school. And out of that screening, we were able to discover one child who had bilateral hearing loss. For us, that was a wake-up call. And Rotarian Martin and at that time President Trevor, they were the lead in that screening process at the Good Shepherd School. Subsequent to that, we decided that we wanted to go full scale because we felt that if in one school we were able to uncover hearing loss in one student, we obviously felt that this was needed across the island. We approached the Ministry of Education, and they were very generous and in their collaboration with us. And we launched the project. We were able to screen all of the Infants B students throughout the island, the 69 schools, primary schools across the island. And arising out of that screening that year, we uncovered 4 students with hearing loss. Some with bilateral and some with unilateral hearing loss. We were also able to uncover a number of students who had wax buildup. Some may have had some other ear infections. Our commitment throughout the screening process is that if we uncover any challenges, if there are any children who require support, our commitment to the community is to provide that support. And of course, we do so by then providing either the follow-up visits with an ENT specialist, our partner at the Speech and Hearing Center, the Stablers, they very generously continue to screen and to support us in that regard. And then if needed, we also provide the hearing aids that are needed for every child.
Wow, so that's definitely a lot happening. And I must say congratulations because you're now embarking on your 4th year. It marks your 4th year of doing this initiative, this very worthy initiative. Now let's get into what actually happens in a hearing screening, because just hearing about it, some people might be a little nervous, and most certainly when you talk about doing screenings for your little ones, it's even more nerve-wracking. So talk to us about that, Rotarian Steinbach.
Okay, morning everyone.
Good morning.
So the screening process is actually very simple. We have an audiometer. It has a headset that we place over the kids' ears. First we explain to them what they're going to do. We put it over their ears. And we tell them, when you hear a sound, you raise your hand to indicate that you have heard the sound. And we set the audiometer at different frequencies, and we test. We record what we find. If a child has not met the standard prescribed by Dr. Stabler, we flag it. We send the kids on to the Speech and Hearing Center for follow-up testing, and Dr. Stabler will make her recommendations and diagnosis. So it's actually a very non-invasive, simple, short procedure.
A lot of people would think that that's just something for older people, or as people get older, that they experience hearing loss. So it must be pretty interesting to reveal to parents that their little ones are experiencing hearing loss. Based on your experience and what has happened in the last few years, what has been the experience in terms of getting parents on board with these diagnoses?
It's been a little mixed. Some parents are skeptical. Some parents don't want to hear that their child has any kind of issue. I am hearing impaired. I wear hearing aids, and I show the kids. You can't tell just by looking at me. And we try to reinforce, but the majority of parents sign the consent forms. We have consent forms that the ministry requires before we can do any testing. There is a small percentage that have refused to sign, and that's unfortunate, but the majority sign. And as the president has said, Rotary takes care of all the expenses that are required to have the children tested. The majority of cases are simple, fluid in the ear, wax buildup, but it does impede the children's ability to hear, which then has all the follow-up issues that arise at school and in life.
All right. I think parents, I can only think of maybe one thing that would hold parents back from signing a consent form for the children to be checked. Maybe if they think it is painful.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's reinforce how it plays out so that parents understand that it really is just a very routine procedure that leaves no long or lingering effects.
Correct. It is so non-invasive. And I think just to piggyback on what Rotarian Martin just shared and leading from your question, people would often say, well, if my child had a hearing loss, I would know. But as I indicated to you, a few of the students that we uncovered had unilateral hearing loss. So for those kids, they have ways of compensating, right? They've learned to read lips. They know to face the speaker, and it's only sometimes if they're seated in the classrooms, maybe in the back, or if they're positioned elsewhere, that then the teachers may start to say, well, this child is not responding, and they may think the child has some type of other learning disability. So we try to encourage parents to understand that it's a very non-invasive procedure. When we first meet the students at the schools, we try to ensure that they're very relaxed before they even undergo the process. Tell a joke, speak with them, explain the full process to them so that they fully understand. And we usually we have hearing muffs where we cover the instruments with. If they'd like to take those with them, they're able to do so. And we really, especially when we first started with the Infants B students, we said to them, this is a game. Right? So that they felt more comfortable. So it's when you hear, as Rotarian Martin indicated, when you hear the sound, you're going to raise your hand. It's as simple as that. Non-invasive, and of course we then respond to the schools. We follow up with the schools, we inform them of the results, and if there is a child that requires a follow-up, we do encourage the parents to then follow up with the Speech and Hearing Center. The ministry is really great in then following back up with those schools, with the principals, in checking to say, has the child taken has the parents taken the child to the Speech and Hearing Center? And that's something that we would like to see an increase in those numbers of the parents following up and taking them.
All right, that's excellent. Now, on that note, it's a great segue for us to invite Dr. Mariella Stabler to join us. She's online of the Barbados Speech and Hearing Center. Good to see you again, and wonderful to have you here. Congratulations on all the fantastic work that you're doing jointly with the Rotary Club and at the center itself. So let's get into a little bit of what happens post these initial screenings. If children are indeed referred to the center, what happens from there?
Thank you so much and good morning. Such a pleasure to be here as always. So after a child is referred from the hearing program, they'll come see me for a full hearing aid evaluation, where we do a more in-depth version of what they've done in school. And that requires, again, headphones in the ears, responding to beeps, and doing some speech testing as well to determine what sort of hearing loss the child has. So as Gail has mentioned, there's bilateral hearing losses, unilateral hearing losses, wax in the ears, section, a whole host of things. So by the end of the evaluation, I would be able to tell a parent the type and severity of the hearing loss.
All right, Dr. Stabler, tell us about some of the most common types of hearing loss that we're seeing being experienced, maybe through these screenings or in our neck of the woods here in Barbados.
Absolutely. So I would say by far the most common type of hearing loss I see is called a conductive hearing loss. And that's the one that you get with a wax impact in the ears. So wax is actually a really good block of that. So once the ear is blocked with wax completely, the child will be experiencing a decrease in hearing. I would say after that, the next common type of hearing loss I see is due to infections of various kinds. And then we get to actual permanent hearing loss, which is actually much less common. However, there is not a non-zero chance, which is why we continue to do the hearing screening program from year to year. And in a population of about 3,000 births every year, we expect to see, if every child was tested, about 3 to 4 that would have permanent hearing loss.
All right, well, thank you for sharing. And, I could see why parents would absolutely be nervous, but this is important. I'd like to draw on your personal experiences, Rotarian Martin. How does it affect someone to not be able to hear well, especially in a learning environment?
As President Gill has said, my mum was totally deaf for most of her adult life, and I have always had some kind of hearing loss. So in school, I always sat in the front of the class. At conferences when I started to work and through university, you always position yourself close to the front, close to a speaker. What I was not aware of until after I went to Dr. Stabler and had hearing aids, had the test done and had hearing aids fitted, it makes me extremely loud and aggressive when I do not wear my hearing aid. I do not realize, because to me, I speak so I can hear, and I do not realize I'm shouting. Okay, so if I took my hearing aids out now and you were having this interview with me, I would be quite a bit louder and come across a lot more aggressively. It certainly has changed when I go out in an environment, like in a restaurant. I just used to nod at guests, my friends across the table, and answer yes to everything because I wasn't hearing the question. I could tell you were speaking, but in that type of environment, it's difficult. Now with hearing aids, I don't hear perfectly, but I hear good enough that the little difficulties are not an issue any longer.
All right, Dr. Stabler, another thing, talk to us about the process of children maybe being fitted for hearing aids, if that's what's needed to be able to get them past any, or to be able to deal with any hearing loss that they've experienced.
Absolutely. It's not as complex a procedure as, someone might think. On my side, there's a lot of technical things. But on the side of the patient, a hearing aid is ordered based on the prescription of their hearing loss from the hearing test. And it is a small over-the-ear device that sits right over the top of the ear. Sometimes there is an ear mold, which is made of the inside of the ear, and that is connected to the back of the hearing aid. So when a child comes in for that hearing aid fitting, we would have the device ready, put that device on the ear of the child. So similar to glasses, nothing that's implanted in your head or implanted in your ears. It comes off and goes on as you need it. So I put the device on the child's ear, and I will make technical changes based on the prescription of the hearing loss and the child themselves and the parent and what they need. And that's the initial fitting in a nutshell. There's a few other things that go on, but from the perspective of the patient, that's basically what happens.
So I would imagine, any child would absolutely benefit, from the screening. So tell us, how can the public really support the Ellen Steinbach hearing screening program? What can we do?
So this year, we're pleased to inform you that we are expanding to also now include class 4 students. Of course, now we'll be testing at an even wider pool. We've been very fortunate in having some really great partners who are supportive of the screening process. So our partners include, along with the Ministry of Education, we also include Dr. Sabler in the Speech and Hearing Center, Ross University School of Medicine, the Barbados Community College, and the University of the West Indies. And our screeners primarily come from that pool, the pool of partners that we discussed with you. Of course, we welcome the support from Corporate Barbados because we continue, as we indicated, our promise to the community is to not only screen, but provide any requisite support that is needed. So that's the purchasing of the hearing aids, of course. So any support that we can certainly receive from Corporate Barbados, we certainly encourage that. We also just widely want to encourage the parents to avail themselves of this opportunity for screening. So we, in addition to Infants B, all of the Class 4 students. So we encourage all of the parents to avail themselves of this opportunity, especially for this program year. We will officially begin our screening process in January. And of course, we will conclude. When we conclude, we will try to reach as many families as we possibly can. And in some cases, that requires us continually following up with the schools. We try not to have to revisit, but if we have to do so, in some cases because of unforeseen circumstances, then we do so, and we try to accommodate the schools. And I have to say that the principals, in the main, they have worked with us collaboratively. Of course, in some schools, as I think Rotarian Martin will share with you, in some schools, of course, sometimes it's a challenge to find a quiet place in which to provide the screening that is needed, right? So some schools have a lovely room that they can give us, and then in other schools, because they may not have the wherewithal to do that, they will provide us with the spaces that they have that's available. In each case, we make it work in supporting them.
Oh, wonderful initiative. Final word, Dr. Stabler. Tell parents, family, friends, everyone looking on, why it's important, not only through this program, but generally, to screen your hearing.
Absolutely. To put it simply, hearing is one of the senses. It's easy to ignore, but when you start to have problems with it, it can impact your life at so many different levels. Yourself individually, with your family, at school, at work. It's so important to have your kids screened, even if you think nothing is going on. At least they have a baseline, so that if something changes, we have something to refer to. And that's the same for children up to adults. We want to be taking care of our hearing and not waiting till the very last minute to think of doing something for it.
All right, well, thank you so much. And, we can see that is in the name of Ellen Steinbach. I'm sure you'd want to say just one thing before we go about what people need to know about Ellen Steinbach, the lady for whom this program is named.
It's named after my mum. After she passed, the family felt we had already started with the pilot project, as President Gill said, at the one school, and we wanted to expand island-wide. So the families felt this was a good way to honor our mother, and we pledged the support for the first 5 years. We're into the third year of the full screening, and the family, from the children to the grandchildren, are all committed, and hopefully it will continue for a lot longer than the 5 years, for sure.
All right, I'm sure it will. Gail Reeves is Rotary Club of Barbados West President. Martin Steinbach is a Rotarian as well, and Dr. Mariella Stabler joined us from the Barbados Speech and Hearing Center. Of course, we were talking all about the Rotary Club of Barbados West Hearing Screening Project. Is going to start again in January. Congratulations on all the fantastic work you're doing. When you see that little form come home, sign it and let the little ones go and get their hearing screened.
Thank you.
You know, it's important to know. As long as you know, then you can deal with it. And if we kind of lean on Bajan parlance, we've been saying for years, you deaf, you can't hear, is there wax in your ears? Even the terms like hard ears, supposed to be in kind of maybe hard of hearing yet. So make sure that we move past that. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
And of course, Dr. Stabler for joining us online as well. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a break and come back here on Morning Barbados on this Monday. It's almost Christmas, people. Bridgetown was open, malls. I couldn't believe it. It's shopping time. And of course, there are little tidbits and so on the set as well. We'll talk more about that and lots more amazing things coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
7 o'clock on this Monday. It's December. That means Christmas is in the air. But there's lots more happening. And there seem to be a lot of very significant anniversary dates coming up. One such date is the 120th anniversary of the Barbados Cadet Corps. We heard a little bit about it from Major Alfred Taylor over the last few days. He was working alongside the CBC team for the National Independence Day Parade. And he reminded us of all that's coming up, the history of the Cadet Corps and what they have planned for this celebration coming up. We're joined this morning by Major Alfred Taylor, Cadet Executive Officer, and Captain Michael Jules, Coordinator of the Anniversary Committee. They're going to tell us a whole lot more of what we can expect during the celebrations. Good morning, sirs.
Good morning.
Okay, wonderful to see you again. Of course, I last would have seen you in the bright, shining, very hot sun last Thursday, but it was a fantastic day. So first of all, congratulations on this milestone for the Barbados Cadet Corps. Major Taylor, as your Cadet Executive Officer, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about the Cadet Corps and the history. We're now at 120 years. That's a long time.
We are indeed. That's a long time. The Barbados Cadet Corps started around 1904, as you might work out from the math, with companies at the Lodge School, Harrison College, and Combermere School. And it's been continuously in existence since then. Back in those days, they were very much independent operations, but then they came under the umbrella of the Barbados Volunteer Force and then Barbados Regiment. But in the 1980s, we started to grow beyond just those three schools, extending stuff first with Ellerslie and then all the way down the line. Our latest baby was number 23 company at the Springer Memorial School, which is an all-female company. We also can boast a pretty thriving Sea Cadet division, a cadet band, catering unit, medical unit. We're developing a technical engineering and digital unit, which will be inclusive of mass media, etc. So a lot going on, a lot to celebrate, but of course a big anniversary next year, celebrating 120 years, and you are going to hear a lot about us and a lot from us during that time.
Oh, wonderful. Captain Jules, you're head of the committee. I'm sure that lots of work is going in already, so we're truly excited about hearing what you have planned.
Oh, yes. Good morning to you and good morning to Barbados. Yes, the year is going to start. The committee has been doing a lot of work getting it together. The year is going to start on Sunday, the 7th of January, with an anniversary church service. We're planning to pack the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium. So that will be our first event, and we are aiming to pretty much have about 2 marquee events during the course of the year. Every month, 2 significant events. We're going to pay the president a visit. I think she looks forward to seeing the cadets. We're going to have a birthday parade for the president. The commandant's review and launch, that's going to round up the month of January. And again, we're aiming to make that a huge event. The Ex-Cadets Association of Barbados, they are going to play a very important part in the year as well. A cadet is always a cadet, regardless of how old they are. And so we want to get them out to pretty much all the events that will take place. And we're going to have some inter-battalion events as well. So the Cadet Corps, as you heard, there are 22 companies drawn from pretty much all the schools in Barbados, also the tertiary institutions as well. So when a cadet completes secondary school and has not attained the age of 18, they have the opportunity to continue in cadets. And that's where the leadership component really comes out, because they're the senior cadets. So we have cadets at Barbados Community College, at the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology. So they're going to be included as well. So with our inter-battalion events, there will be a quiz, drill competition, and a triathlon. So all the cadets will have the opportunity to compete against each other in those inter-battalion events. The march through Bridgetown on Saturday, the 23rd of March, that's going to be a major event as well, where we will pretty much show off what the Barbados Cadet Corps has to offer. We'll have a tattoo in conjunction with the Barbados Police Service on the 24th of August, and Run Cadet Run in September. That is also going to be a major event in that we're looking to bring out all the cadets, their parents, family, and friends. And one of the things about the Run Cadet Run, the proceeds from this event will be going towards childhood cancer. And then we end the year, Saturday, 7th December, with a huge concert again at the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium. And this concert will feature who's who in entertainment in Barbados. I don't know if you're aware, Tisha, but several entertainers were members of the Barbados Cadet Corps. And we have Mac Fingal, who was I think he was a drum major at the number 2 cadet company, but he has already consented to be the MC for that show. Well, rather co-MC, because we're going to have a cadet as well to co-MC with him. So in a nutshell, those are the activities which we will be having during the course of the year. I want to say, though, at this stage, we are looking for the oldest cadet. So persons out there who were members of the cadet corps, probably in the 40s, 50s, if you think you're the oldest cadet, you can contact us at cadet headquarters 536-2005 or 836-3162. So again, we are looking for the oldest cadet. We have something special happening, and we are looking for the oldest cadet.
Well, I must tell you that my father was a cadet, and I grew up hearing his mom refer to him as Lance Corporal Bavell.
Okay.
she called him that for her whole life.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I know that you were about to say something, Captain Jules.
Yes, I was saying, so maybe he can call us and see if he ends up being the oldest.
I don't think that will happen, but we can discuss that afterwards. All right, so pretty much in that vein of talking about what's happening and looking at the theme that you most certainly have for the celebrations for the 120th year, developing bold, committed, and courageous leaders. I know for you, Major Taylor, you were also a cadet at the Combermere School, and then you moved on to the BDF. So talk to us about how being a member of the cadets shaped you and who you are today.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think I'd be the person I am today had I not joined the cadet corps. Those people from my sort of family background will know that I was a very shy child, probably prone to crying when they had to do a recitation or something like that. But all that changed actually when I became a member of the cadet corps. The opportunities for development of the individual, for developing your leadership, for developing the way you interact socially with people, greeting wider audiences in terms of connecting with your colleagues from the various schools at various campuses has been absolutely fundamental to my development, such that when I left school, I was pretty much set on a military career, but of course had to take care of my further education, etc. first. But then in 1999, I was made an offer that I could not refuse when I was invited to be part of the Barbados Defence Force and be part of the development of the BDF band, etc. And I did that for a few years, but when I thought I was finally going to retire from military service, an opportunity came up again to be involved in the management, the administration of the cadet corps. And I obviously could not say no, understanding how much it meant to me as a person, and just being available to create that kind of opportunity to as wide an audience as possible, which covers all our schools. And that is my story. I would encourage any youngster to get involved with the cadet corps. We have a little bit of space for expansion, and it's not just shiny boots and shouting orders. It is really a rather broad-based development program, a leadership program, and we cover a variety of things. Almost anything that you would want to get involved in, we can find a way to fit that into the cadet corps. And that is the way we intend to operate going forward. Continuously expanding, continuing to broaden the options and the prospects, and certainly developing the next generation of leaders in Barbados. And if you look back at it, some of the brightest and best minds in Barbados in politics and entertainment and government across the public service, even in private fields, came through the cadet corps, and all of them will tell you that was absolutely fundamental to their development. So I commend it. to any youngster, even if you don't think it is right for you, try it anyway. There's absolutely nothing wrong with starting and deciding that that's not for me. That's fine. But check it out. I guarantee you that you will find something of yourself that you maybe didn't even think was there.
Some of the names for the anniversary celebrations are quite interesting. And, like you said, Captain Jules, I'm most certainly going to be looking forward to the inter-battalion competitions. So there's a triathlon. There's one called Souls Ablaze, spelled SOLE. So that's interesting. And of course, you have drill competitions as well. I know drilling is very, very important. There's also a quiz competition, and there's so much more happening. But, my question for me is, and this might be a question we might have to bring in Major Taylor for as well. But in terms of recruitment, are you finding that there's still a lot of students who are very interested in the cadets? Do you have to work harder at recruitment? And is that something you're going to be working toward in earnest in the 120th year?
In terms of recruitment, we're doing quite well. Some of our OCs, officers commanding the various units at the schools, set up their various showcases when the students were doing orientation, and that has been very attractive. But I think what is going to be even more attractive is when school populations see the cadets in training at the schools. And that is really going to be attractive, I am absolutely sure. So we're encouraging numbers, but of course we have somewhat finite resources, but we will try to accommodate anybody at all who's interested. Whether that is be in music or in the catering unit or in the technical unit, whatever your interest, we can find a way to accommodate it.
All right, Captain Jules.
Tisha,
is there any room at all? Thank you. Is there any room at all for, we heard about the resources, but is there any room at all for some additional thrust in that area next year?
Well, what I wanted to say is, and to support what Major Taylor just noted, only recently I am the officer commanding number 11 Cadet Company at the St. George Secondary School. And only recently we held an Independence Day parade at the school. And, while we were doing the rehearsals at the lunch hour, you would see some students just watching on, and one little girl came up and she said, I like what I'm seeing. Can I join cadets? And so by the end of the actual Independence Day parade, we had four new recruits. So what Major Taylor is saying is quite true, that as students see what's happening within the schools, then they get eager, they get excited, and they want to be a part of the organization. So I'm quite sure with all the activities happening next year that indeed we would be looking at a pretty high rate of recruitment. The other thing I want to say is the logo and the theme. You will hear, you just spoke about the team developing bold, committed, and courageous leaders. And that logo that you see, Tisha, that was created by a cadet. We also have a jingle. That jingle, if you call into the Barbados Cadet Corps headquarters, you will hear that jingle playing once you're put on hold. And that jingle was created by 5 cadets from the number 12 company, the St. Leonard's Boys. So we encourage the cadets to get involved. It's their year. So we are very happy with those cadets who were able to come forward and create the logo and the jingle for us.
That's truly wonderful, and to see them fully committed to being a part of the anniversary celebrations. Major Taylor, let's talk a little bit about transitioning and how often you see cadets transitioning to the VDF and how that works out.
Well, this has pretty much always been the case as far back as maybe the 70s, 80s, certainly when the Barbados Defence Force became a full-time organization. Some of the best cadets opted to transition to the military. People like Jeffrey Bostic and John Nurse, and these folks come to mind. And that has been continuously so. I think there was a period of time when it wasn't so much encouraged, and the reason is that it was thought that the Cadet Corps was a youth development organization and not a nursery for the military. But I think that approach has softened a bit in recent times because people recognize the benefit of having leadership skills well developed by the time you enter the military at whatever level. That is always helpful. And I'm happy to see that in very recent times, there is a pretty good transition rate. In fact, ongoing right now is a batch of recruits in the reserve element who came through the Cadet Corps. And just passing out a few weeks ago, a handful of cadets from who joined the full-time element of the force. But that relationship between the full-time force, indeed between the Barbados Regiment, Barbados Coast Guard, and the Barbados Cadet Corps right now is a very, very good one. Lots of support we get from them, and I take the opportunity to thank them for it. The reserve elements of the Barbados Regiment and Barbados Coast Guard often fed by cadets transitioning to the military. So right now, a very good relationship, and I expect that will continue well into the future, so that we have not just a strong cadet corps leading to a strong military, but a strong presence right across Barbados in the widest possible sense.
All right, so starting the celebrations, kicking off Sunday, January 7th with the anniversary church service. And then, of course, the celebration of the president's birthday and parade. Lots to see and do. And I want to challenge you. I know that this looks pretty comprehensive, but it would be wonderful to see a month of marching in March. So bring the public on board and teach some regular Bajans to march and let them see it's not as easy as sometimes you guys, the professionals, make it look. That would be good. A month of marching in March. Make it happen, Major Jules. Captain Jules.
Thank you for the promotion, Tisha.
I like the sound of it. Maybe something could happen.
All right, guys. I would absolutely be there.
Well, it would be good to see you in uniform.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much. I'm sure you'll be back to tell us a whole lot more about the celebrations coming up. Congratulations once again. 120th anniversary of the Barbados Cadet Corps. How about that? All ex-cadets report for duty. They're looking for the oldest cadet here on island. But of course, if you haven't been active with the Ex-Cadets Association, now is your opportunity to be a part of that as well. And if you have young people in your lives, you can encourage them to at least try it. All right, we're going to take another break and come back here on Morning Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
It's summer vacation, and CBC TV8 says laugh a little. Your mid-mornings have now included some family-friendly, side-splitting series like The Partridge Family, Benson, and Designing Women. TV not to be missed this vacation. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on CBC TV8. It's Match Day Live from the 246 with host Damian Best. Your all-access pass to the action happening in the BFA Premier League and beyond. Every last Monday of the month on CBC TV8. Kickoff time, 8:30 p.m. with analysis from our panel and highlights of the top performances. You can weigh in on the discussion via WhatsApp on 228-5562. It's Match Day Live from the 246. Don't you miss it.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we have a big netball final coming up. We want to tell you all about that. And joining us this morning to tell us more about that is Gillian Seeley, rather. She's secretary of the Barbados Secondary Schools Netball League, and she's here with me in studio.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you with me so that I'm not all alone. Well, I have Santa here and a few reindeer, but I'm not sure that they count really as
part of the
bodies in studio. Yeah. And joining us online is co-chair of the Barbados Secondary Schools Athletic Championships Committee, Andrew Brathwaite. Good morning to you, Andrew.
Good morning.
All right, so I'm going to start with you, Gillian. Tell us a little bit about the finals that's coming up, the Dasani Powerade Under-19 netball competition. How has it been going so far?
The competition has been excellent. The level of netball, the competitiveness between the schools has really been good. This year is the first time we're actually going to be holding it at the Garfield Sobers gymnasium, so we're very excited about that. We want everybody to come on board and help support these young ladies on their quest to netball. Netball is actually the main sport of females, so as a secondary schools league we actually want to have the wider public come out and support these girls in this sport that is really ours as a female.
Before we move on over to Andrew, I know the event is the culmination of an entire competitive season.
Yes.
And it's been a lot of friendly rivalry filled with lots and lots of excitement. So talk to us about what being able to be a part of netball has been doing for the participants.
Well, as an organization, we not only just push the netball, we're pushing discipline, we're pushing self-esteem as it relates to our young ladies. And in terms of the netball, that is, we're using the sport to help foster those kind of characteristics within our girls. So the competition, as you go along, as you see the development, the assertiveness of the girls coming out is really a good thing to see.
All right, that's wonderful. Now I know that this interview is twofold. We're also talking about, because you're incorporating an initiative to help to raise funds for Shakira Shuri. We've had her on Morning Barbados already. Talk to us about that initiative.
Well, as the organization is really about the physical education teachers who come together to promote netball. Ms. Shuri, a teacher of the Dara Jordan Secondary School, is one of those same said physical education teachers. And we don't just want to be an organization that is about the sport. We want to recognize that there are a lot of persons who help this league be what it is. And therefore we want to not only support the sport, but support the persons that support us in building the sport. And Shakira Shuri is one of those persons. And as she battles, cancer, we want to show her that we can aid her, however little it may be. So for our finals, all gate receipts we're using to donate to her cause. The admission fee is $3 for children and $5 for adults, and all of that is going towards her fight against cancer.
Wow, and we're of course displaying all that information for you on screen so you can be a part of it. Now, Andrew, you're not here with us, but good to have you. Talk to me about how the Barbados Secondary Schools Athletic Championship Committee ties into all that's happening.
Well, you know that we have been organizing athletics for a number of years, and we are about sports. It is not just about the track and field. Students are involved in other sports as well. So at the level of the committee, we have committed ourselves to exploring opportunities to become more involved in what our young people are doing. And after some discussion with the netball group, we came on board with them to bring our experience as well with regards managing and organizing competitions to that league. I think it's been a wonderful marriage, and the results will be demonstrated at the final tomorrow afternoon as well.
Absolutely, and the move to the gymnasium, I'm sure that that will mark a major difference. People who are involved closely with the sport may be more inclined, particularly if they have people participating, to go on over to the netball stadium, of course. But it certainly all of a sudden seems a little more inclusive moving to this new venue.
Well, definitely so. And also, we think that for finals, semifinals, final competitions, we have to put the players in an environment that mirrors what they will get if they are moving into the next level. Certainly, this will allow the players to have a better experience, and the comfort of the persons who are coming to watch the game, will be better. We are also looking at streaming this competition, and there may even be a possibility, we're not absolutely sure it yet, if there will be radio coverage, but certainly there will be a stream, and we will share information relative to the stream as well, so that we can reach the largest audience that we possibly can.
All right. Now, you're charging a nominal fee for admission of $3 for children and $5 for all other patrons.
Yes, please.
And this is one of the ways that you're hoping to help Shakira. If you missed it for some reason, Miss Shuri is the physical education teacher at Darrell Jordan Secondary School and coach manager at the Talents Track and Fields Club.
Yes, please.
And she herself has been involved in many areas of sports throughout the years as well.
Yes, and that is why we think, from our perspective, this is something that we really want to get behind. We want to encourage the netball fraternity first and foremost, who would have benefited from a lot of her coaching and training, and then the wider Barbadian community to come out and support us in supporting her.
What would you like to add, Mr. Brathwaite, in terms of the support?
Besides adding support to what Jillian has just said with regards to Shakira, because I've watched her as well with the athletes from the Darrell Jordan Secondary School for years, and I must say, as a teacher, she has done an excellent job. So I encourage the public to support. If you're not able to attend the game, certainly the banking information scrolled across the screen, and you can make an effort to make a deposit to that as well. But this final is an exciting opportunity for us to showcase the extremely strong talent that we have at the junior level in netball, for us to showcase that our students continue to do exceptionally well. As we build out going into other competitions, we are also going to be paying attention to developmental work. Jillian mentioned some of that, how to deal with media, how to dress, how to manage the academics alongside the playing of the sport. So this relationship with BSAC and the netball grouping certainly we think as we grow over the next few years will work wonders, and hopefully we will see greater excitement, greater interest as well at that junior level, leading persons into the senior level as well.
It's beautiful. We're also getting ready to move into what we often call sports term, but that's another conversation for another time, Mr. Brathwaite. And we know how that goes in other circles. So what can we expect at the big final tomorrow, Gillian?
Well, we can definitely expect some very good competition. We have the Christchurch Foundation School and the Springer Memorial School contesting the 3rd and 4th place playoffs. But then we have the Alling School, who's been in the under-19 finals 3 times, and unfortunately all 3 times they came second, and they're challenging, or they're up against the Commonwealth School, who's their first time in the competition. Now we know Allen will definitely want to take home that under-19 title for the first time, but I can see Commonwealth giving them a definite run for that championship. The competition has really been good, good netball, good sportsmanship. So I know that the competition on Tuesday, which is actually tomorrow, the 5th of December, will be really, really good. And I know the schools are coming out to support, and even the teachers and even umpires and netball players, former and present, are coming out to support. So it's going to be a good championship tomorrow.
What? Springer versus Commonwealth for the first place?
No. Commonwealth versus Alling.
Springer versus Commonwealth versus Alling
for the first place, and Springer versus Christchurch Foundation School for the 3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th place.
Yes, please.
How about that? Really sounds like it's going to be an amazing final coming up tomorrow. Talk to us about start time. I know you want people to be seated early enough so they don't distract what's happening on the court.
We would actually like everyone to be sitting about 3:45. We want to start at 4 o'clock sharp. The parade of the teams, introducing them. We want to do it professionally. We want the girls to feel, that they've come to the gymnasium and they can hear their names just like how they will hear the Barbados national team names being called. So we want all of that to be part of our ceremony tomorrow in terms of the start. And we want to start the games around 4:30 tomorrow, but before that will be the preview of the teams, the parade of the teams coming out. And we expect everyone to be seated by 3:45.
And I would imagine, Andrew, getting some experience working along with other aspects of sport will also pour into who you are as a committee, not just for athletics, which is what you're known for.
Oh yes, definitely so. We understand that sports in schools needs a little bit of work, and we want to certainly play a part in doing the upgrade of sports in schools. Like I said, this is the start with netball, and hopefully you'll see the name of the BSAT grouping attached to 1 or 2 of the other sports as we move forward. We think it's good to have secondary school sports. BSAT is largely run by the principals and PE teachers, and we think those are the persons who should take full responsibility for the execution of sports within the secondary schools. We would love to see more sports under one umbrella in this manner, so that the scheduling of competitions, etc., can be a bit more seamless as well. We wouldn't have the backup sometimes that we see, and overall execution with working with one body certainly can do a whole lot to make the sports run a bit better.
Well, that's wonderful stuff. And, they're literally, in Bajan parlance, killing 2 birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So it's the final tomorrow, but they want you to come out and support this worthy cause because we want to support Shakira Shuri through this initiative as well. So make sure you come on out.
Yes, please.
And be a part of it. And I'm excited just even hearing about it. Commonwealth in the finals for the first time and could present a big upset for Allen School, who have made it into the finals 3 times in a row, but always ended up in 2nd place. And now they're coming and hoping they can pull off a big upset. Ooh, I'm excited. I definitely have to go and see some of this exciting netball. Andrew, I see you want to say something.
Yes, please. I want to also take this opportunity to acknowledge the sponsor for this event. We are sponsored by Desani and Powerade, and they've been excellent providing refreshment for the players throughout the league, not just for the final. We couldn't have come this far without the input from the the Stanley Power A Group. So we are very, very happy for that sponsorship. And we want to encourage other sponsors to come on board. Just as we have sponsors on board for the athletic competition, we certainly want to encourage other corporate entities to embrace school sports and make contributions to the further development of school sports as well.
Absolutely. So I want to thank both of you for coming in and sharing with us this morning to share more about what's coming up tomorrow and the worthy cause that you're bringing along with that final of the competition. A big shout out to the Springer girls as well. I know that just the alumni, if you invite the old Springer girls alone, they could fill up the gymnasium. And I know they have a very vibrant association as well. And so Springer, they are coming up against
the Christchurch Foundation School.
The Christchurch Foundation School. How about that? And they too have a vibrant Old Scholars Association. So it's truly gearing up to be a wonderful final tomorrow. Thank you so much, Gillian Seeley, Secretary of the Barbados Secondary Schools Netball League, and Andrew Brathwaite, co-chair of the Barbados Secondary Schools Athletic Championships Committee. Had me a little confused this morning because I was like BSAT talking about netball. But it's good to hear that you guys are working together. Excellent stuff.
It's a good surprise, I'm sure.
It absolutely is. All right, we're going to take another break here and come back. Stay with us on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
17 minutes now before the 8 o'clock hour. Just about 17 minutes to go before we wrap today's presentation. Time truly flies when you're having fun. All right, we're going to talk about a very serious issue right now that I think we need to spend a whole lot more time on. So I'm happy that Laverne Beresford of Be Their Voice Dog Charity and Fiona Collister of Ocean Acres Cat Clinic, the program coordinator, they're joining us this morning to talk a little bit more about the concerns on the abusive way that some animals are being treated here in Barbados. I'm being told that it's just Laverne for today. We've not been able to reach Fiona. So welcome, Laverne. Good to have you with us.
Oh, good morning, and thank you very much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Talk to me a little bit about what piqued your interest, first of all, in being a part of this Be Their Voice dog charity.
Well, I've always loved animals. Growing up, I've always had lots of dogs and cats. And I recognized from a very early stage that animal abuse has been very prevalent on the island. I don't think that a lot of people who live on the island recognize what is happening. Sometimes, unless you're actually involved in it, you don't see the state that a lot of animals are being kept in and how they're being treated. The problem seems to be spay and neutering. That's one of the major problems. We don't have nearly enough spay and neutering of dogs and cats, and that means that there is an overpopulation of animals, and that is exactly what is causing one of the problems on the island, because when the animals are allowed to breed, then owners are reaching out to the shelters, which are already overburdened. They are full to capacity, and then there's nowhere to put the animals. So they're literally being abandoned all over the island. So that is what prompted myself and a group of committee members to get involved in this. The group was actually started by Lynn Nielsen, who as well was very desperate to do something to help the animals on the island. And now we're here 1 year later, and we've been doing extraordinary things.
Sometimes we take for granted, we assume that people know what we're talking about when we say, things that might come easily to us. But when we talk about animal abuse, I think it is important maybe to lay it out so people understand some of what we're talking about.
Yeah, so people think when we say animal abuse that we're just talking about beating a dog, striking a dog, but animal abuse actually extends further. It is not feeding a dog properly. It is chaining it 24/7, very small quarters, having it living in a kennel without adequate space to move around, not allowing it to exercise. And that is very common over here. We see a lot of animals being chained. They're on short chains. Some of them don't even have a dog house or a dog kennel or any sort of shelter from the elements. Another form of animal abuse is not having parasitic treatment. So things like meds for worms. The animals are infested with worms. They're infested with ticks and fleas. Their hair, for the ones that have long hair or thick hair, the hair is matted together. All of these things are forms of animal abuse. Dog fighting, dog baiting. These are all forms of animal abuse that's prevalent on the island.
All right. What are some of the ways that we can combat this?
Well, the shelters are there. They're helping. Education is one of the big things that we definitely need to work on. And we're going into communities and we are trying, but without the help of government and public service announcements and the education, we're really fighting an uphill battle. The shelters, as I said, are trying. They do their best. They provide food for some families who can't afford it. They try to provide spay and neuter services, but some of them are just so overburdened with all of these animals that they have to care for that they can only direct their resources in one area, which is the care and maintenance of the animals. And then the education part of it is sadly lacking. So that is what my group does. So we spay and neuter dogs and cats. The community ones, we call them community, but commonly they're referred to as strays on the island. And we also do it for owners who can't afford regular veterinary costs to have their animals done. We also advocate against animal abuse. And very recently, we have been providing veterinary care for the same community dogs and cats and for animals who their owners simply can't afford it.
Let's talk a bit about the spay and neutering process and how relatively easy it is to have it done.
Well, there are several veterinary clinics all around the island that offer it. We actually partner with Canine Friends, which is a charity on the island, and they offer us a very, very good price to have our community dogs and cats done. We offer transportation, which is the really, really essential part of this whole operation that we have. We use a company that's called Charlie's Pet Transport, and they do pet transportation, and they pick the dog or cat up. They trap the dog or cat if it's a stray, and they will take it to the clinic. The procedure is done, and then the dog is released the same day. It's a very simple procedure. Our infection rates are very low. We have experienced vets who are there. They know what they're doing. They get the job done, and the animal is the recovery time is very, very short. Within a day or two, most animals are up and running and being their playful selves again.
Based on what you've experienced, would you say that neglect and incidents of abuse and abandonment are on the rise in Barbados?
I think it's actually at an all-time high at the moment. We're having reports of vehicles going to various areas and just dumping dogs off. They're just literally opening the doors and allowing the dogs to just jump out, and then they'll just drive off. They are dumping grounds on the island, well-known areas such as the Bell. There is Martin's Bay. There's by the Globe Cinema in Christchurch. They're well-known dumping areas where we tend to find a lot of dogs, and they're the ones that are being dumped off. They're being abandoned because the shelters are just full. There's nowhere to put the dogs, and this is what is creating such a big problem on the island. There's just nowhere to put any more dogs.
And when we're talking about spaying and neutering, I think it's important that we note that we're not only talking about strays, but it's important for owners to look at spaying and neutering their pets as well.
Definitely. And it's unbelievable, but a lot of people don't know what spay and neuter is. They have no idea that you can prevent the birth of kittens and puppies by simply spaying and neutering. And that in itself is the education that we need to push. We need to encourage it, and we need to educate people on what it is, how simple it is. It doesn't harm the animal in any way at all. There is Ocean Acres Cat Clinic. They do it at a very nominal cost. That's for the cats. And then there is Canine Friends. They do it for the dogs, again, at a very nominal cost because the cost is subsidized. And then there are regular veterinary clinics, which you just have to book the animals in, and the veterinary techs there are very happy to do it.
All right, we definitely should. I'm always very disheartened. On the roads around Barbados, we most certainly are seeing a lot more animals being killed on the roadways as well. And this is one of the reasons, so many animals, just strays as we refer to them as, roaming around. So it definitely is a situation that has reached a point where we need to play a bigger role. Give us a number that people could call and reach out for assistance if they do, to ask further questions.
They can definitely contact me at 253-4590. That's 253-4590. We also have social media pages. We're on Instagram under the name of Be Their Voice. We're on Facebook under the name of Be Their Voice. So definitely they can reach out to me directly. I am happy. I schedule all of the animals for the spay and neuter clinics. I offer advice on what to do. So definitely they can reach out to me at any point in time. I'm available via telephone call or WhatsApp or via the social media platforms.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Laverne Beresford of Be Their Voice Dog Charity, reminding us about the role we must play in taking care of our animals, whether they're our pets and we're inadvertently not, doing what we need to do for them. I know some people, you lead busy lives and you have the animals all cooped up in the little dog houses and stuff like that. You need to move away from that. Dogs need to get out and exercise and be fed well and all of the other stuff that Ms. Beresford told us all about. Well, thank you so much for sharing. You've left us with lots and lots to think about.
Thank you for having me. And I really do hope that we do see a grave improvement in the way that animals are treated. There are some animals that are treated very well. We're not saying that all of them are being ill-treated, but there are a lot who still need to have the treatment that they deserve. Animals don't have a voice, and that is why we need to stand up for them and make sure that they are treated fairly. They too have a right to be part of our environment.
All right, thank you so much. It's time for another break on Morning Barbados. When we come back, I'm sure you know by now how to play What You Can Give Me for Christmas. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack? Or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country?
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
What you gonna give me for Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
We have to credit Satchmore for that song, What You Gonna Give Me for Christmas? It's time for you to answer a very simple question for a chance to win. That's not what you have to do. You know what you have to do in order to win. Up for grabs today, we have a fantastic gift basket. Somebody's going to win a BOP gift basket. If I call you and you answer the phone the right way. So the CBC What You're Going to Give Me for Christmas promotion is brought to you by BOP. Bring you joy this Christmas. Carmita's Deliciously Bajan. Post Wireless World. The Best Dressed Chicken. No antibiotics ever. Swiss, better because it's Swiss. A1 Supermarkets at Carlton and Emerald City. And the Stations of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. So we're going to make that first call. Go ahead and dial, guys. And let's see if we get someone on this telephone line who answers the right way. Of course, credits to Satchmore for that one. It truly is a Bajan classic. What are you going to give me for Christmas? Let's see. We're dialing.
The number you have dialed has not been recognized.
Now that first person was Julia Drakes, and we did not get through. So dial the number 2 person on the line, guys. Let's go. Let's see if we get through to the other person who is on the list for a call. It's ringing.
What are you going to give me for Christmas?
What do you want for Christmas?
Anything. I don't mind. I happy with anything. Anything I have now, anything I get is extra.
Julia,
So contented.
congratulations.
Thank you.
You are going to get a Bop gift basket from us for Christmas. I certainly hope that you enjoy that as well. So thanks for playing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Where are you located?
I am in Bridgefield, St. Thomas.
All right, Bridgefield, St. Thomas. I know a thing or two about that area. So I hope that you have a fantastic Christmas, very, very happy Christmas season as well. Are you getting some shopping in?
Yes, but no, let me say, not just yet, not just yet.
All right, so you're going to get there. Starting to the cleaning up and stuff, though.
Yes.
All right, you know how we do in Barbados.
Right,
We
then.
absolutely have to. So congratulations to Julia Drakes, who is walking away this morning just by answering, what are you going to give me for Christmas? She's going to walk away with a Bop gift basket. So if you submitted your name and contact information, you must remember to answer your phone, what you can give me for Christmas when we call. So keep the phones near to you and keep the phones topped up too, because we called a few people and, there was no credit. And then, of course, you get a chance to win with us. Again, it's brought to you with the compliments of Bop. Bring you joy this Christmas. Carmita's Deliciously Bajan. Post Wireless World. The Best Dressed Chicken. No antibiotics ever. Swiss. Better because it's Swiss. A1 Supermarkets at Carlton and Emerald City. And the Stations of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. Thank you so much for being with us today on Morning Barbados. Coming up tomorrow, conversations on CARICOM. We're also talking HR with the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados. And there's so much more to come. You see, the guys have been decorating the set. There's a lot going on. But we're going to continue to perfect it. Thank you for spending the last few minutes with me. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So as you go about your business, be careful. Wear your smiles. Do something nice for somebody. It's that type of season. And come on back tomorrow with us. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.